Hey guys, I hope you are well. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to take a drum break using Modern and Massive, which was just a standard drum break a drummer playing through, and turn it into this. Alright, so I've gone and recorded a short little doozy. It's super simple, the mix super basic, it's just some EQs, a bit of compression on the bass and stuff. For drums it's Modern and Massive with turbo across everything, which I have exported to a set of audio stems here, as you can see. And then I've just put some nice saturation on the overhead, which is something I'm messing around with before this, and some EQ, some compression, and some more bass low end on the kick. And this is what it sounds like. So that sounded cool as it is, but I thought, why not try and morph it into a more of a drum and bass rhythm? So that's what I'm going to try and do now. It's going to be a lot of just trial and error, really. Seeing what sounds good, what doesn't, seeing what effects work, what effects don't. That's kind of my process with it, just a lot of messing around, which is why it's so fun, but let's get into it. So the first thing I want to do is I'm actually going to put these into a track stack. That's because I might want to put effects on the entire drum kit mix, and this is an easy way to do that. If you don't have track stacks in your DAW, you can just send everything through a bus and then put effects on the bus, and that'll be doing the same thing. Because this is essentially what it is. When you make a track stack in Logic, it just creates a bus. You can see here the input is bus 2. Right, second thing I always recommend doing is, in Logic it's called the marquee tool, and it allows you to basically set out an area that you want to create into its own region. And you can snap it to bars or beats or divisions in here, and I'm going to put it to absolute value because I want everything to be on the grid when I'm cutting stuff up. Right, so let's get into it. That's all the prep work done. So I want to create a sort of interesting drum and bass kind of thing. So what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting up this snare hit here, and I'm going to move that entire region to create a sort of snappy, stuttery effect. But it's working out where I want everything to go to create the rhythm I'm after. So I want it to go, I'm thinking like dum ga da 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 da. That's what I want to do. So I need to move this region, just get rid of that. I'm going to clip gain this down just to create like a ghost note-y type hit. Can come down way more. Even clip that up. So now I want to find a nice clean hi-hat hit. There's one in here. So let's nab that. So again, cutting it all and then dragging it in. One E and a 2, one E and a 2. Let's see what that sounds like. Have I done that wrong? Yes, I have. That's okay. So, wait, I've confused myself now. Yeah, okay. So let's start, because I want that ghost note to come behind that hit and that there. So then we can drag this out. There we go. Okay, so that's got that rhythm I wanted. The hi-hat isn't super loud, so let's see what it's like if I clip gain that up. I kind of like this. It's not what I was intending, but it's got a kind of pumping effect, which is just the sound of the room, which I kind of like. Cool, I'm actually really happy with that. Now, I want to create a really weird glitch effect in this bit. So for that, I'm going to up the division to 30-second notes. Let's see how this sounds. Yeah, boy. Okay, I'm liking that, but I'm going to apply some other effects to this section. Let me think. So let's bounce this in place. Let's leave the original. So now I've got that stutter effect in its own audio region. Okay, and let's undo this cut here. Get rid of all of these. Now it's non-destructive, which means if I want it back, I can simply just drag this audio file over. But I don't want those there for now. I want these. So I'm going to apply some extra effects to this. What am I going to do? I'm thinking maybe like pitch shift it. For this, I would normally use something like Soundtoys' Little Alter Boy, which has a great pitch shift, and it's got a drive mixed in and some different modes. You can equally do the same thing by just using a normal pitch shifter and then applying some drive in another plugin, but for this, it's all in one, so I'm just going to use this. So let's dive in and start automating the pitch. I'm going to link these two because I want the pitch and the formant to work together like that. So I'm thinking just move the pitch up on the last 3 of those hits. So we go to pitch, and I'm going to do that. Whoops, let's get it back to 0. There we go. Let's just mess around and see what this sounds like. Happy with that. Now, I'm actually going to go and pan this. So when it glitches, sorry, when it pitches the glitch, I'm going to move it so it pans all the way to one side, just to create an extra bit of weirdness. And then I'm actually not going to use the drive from Little Alter Boy. I'm going to go ahead and use Logic's stock bit crusher because it sounds good. So let's just loop this. So as you can see, I'm really just messing around with the effects, trying some different timed things, like would it sound cool if I automate the downsampling up through this? Just having a mess around, seeing what I like. I kind of like that. Let's see how it sounds in context. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Okay, I'm gonna copy this onto a new track. I want to create like an explosion effect with that snare, so that's just going to be a reverb. Let's just use the chroma verb. I want the mix all the way up, because we've still got the original snare there, so I don't want to get rid of it. Or double it up, sorry. So I'm getting rid of all the dry signal in this, because it's essentially like sending it to an effects bus. But I want it to be really, really like close and gross. Close and gross. So let's try, reflective hall. What does that sound like? Yes. Right, distance. I want that close. I want it to be a reasonably small sound. Actually, yeah, that'll be cool. So let's bounce that in place, and I'll show you something I want to do to this. So I don't want the original anymore, so new track, delete, and now we have that made. I'm just going to go in and get rid of that, move this back, and I'm going to cut. Let's try that much. And then what I'm going to do is if I hold down Alt and come here, it's actually going to stretch this region. Because it's like a complex sound and we're just using the stock stretching algorithm, it might sound gross, but that's kind of what we're after. We want to create sort of weird glitches and kind of abuse the system a bit. Okay, let's just try stretching it loads. I don't know what this will sound like. Ooh, I like that a lot. Let's bring that end out and let's stutter the end. So what are we on? Let's stutter from there. So now I'm going to double the division because I'm going to want to create little regions like this. I'm sure there's a quicker way to do this, but it's just how I've learned to do it. I'm going to delete every second, do a fade in of 1, fade out of 1 to make sure there's no blips and bloops. And I'm just going to copy that to last longer. See, now we're getting somewhere. I'm liking it. I'm going to do the same thing I just did with this section. So cut this, and then I'm going to do the stretchy glitchy thing because I really like how that sounds. Let's see, how much do we want to take? Let's take a 30-second note and stretch that. Okay, let's just try it to the snare. See what that sounds like. Now, as you can see, it's kind of split this up into 2 different bits. So I just want to get rid of the transient and keep the sustain. I like it. So I'm going to go and grab all of that. Let's do it up to that. Well, let's see. Yep, and bounce that to a new track. So I want to keep the original, so let's bounce that in place again, but say leave for the source, because we don't want to delete it. And there we go. So let's mess around. I might use the altar boy again on this. Sound toys, there we go. Little altar boy. Mix, link these 2 boys. Let's try and do some. That sounds so cool. I want to get rid of that maybe, because I want the emphasis of the fill to come in before the guitars come back in. I don't want to lose that. I'm liking it. Let's try another sound toys. All right, depth max. I want it to be a quick trim. I like that. Let's distort it some more. What haven't I used yet? Let's go into FabFilter's Saturn. So this is why I love doing this. You're just really messing around with different things, different ideas, and seeing what comes out of it. Each time I sit down and do like a glitchy thing, it always comes out different, which is part of the fun. Robot Factory, let's see what that sounds like. Ooh, I like that. Let's bring the volume down. All right, let's listen from the top. All right, I'm liking it so far, but now I'm going to copy this whole bit and move it over to there, like that. I want to create that sort of effect. So let's half the length and double that. There we go. For this section, I'm going to bounce in place again because I want to try out Logic's Ring Shifter plugin, which is a really weird modulation plugin where you can create some really bizarre effects. Ring Shifter. I'll just mess around with it so you can hear what it does. So we're going to automate this again. So I want to automate the frequency from maybe, like, you can see it moving there. And let's duck it down. Automation curve tool, please. Let's try that. Let's see what that sounds like in context. That's kind of cool. Let us stutter that first kick. Okay, we're starting to finish off, I think. Let's listen and see what else we might want to add to it. That's way too loud for me. It kind of distracts from the build-up. So let's just take a listen through to where we are now. I think we're getting pretty close to being finished, and in the interest of keeping the video relatively shortish, I won't go too much longer. There's one thing. I want to put some of these stutters at the end to sort of accent the snare build. And then after that, I think we'll probably be done. Let's see. Let's see what that sounds like. It's a bit quiet, so let's just automate the volume of that section up. I thought that was too loud. I want to put those, they're not currently on the 16ths, so I'm going to do that. And, oh no, I want that one. So let's get rid of these two, and I'm just going to drag, let's put it to 30 seconds, nope, 30 seconds. There we go. Let's see what that sounds like. Cool, but I can't hear it, so let's make that nice and loud. There's one final thing I want to do. This section. I want to apply some bit crush to that hi-hat. I want to keep the original, so let's do that. Might look like nothing's there, but it's just quiet, as you can see. So let's put a bit crusher on it. Loop that. That's cool, but it is obviously far too quiet. That was way too loud. There's too much like body to it, so I'm just going to filter it. I might also, whilst we're here, because I want it to be nice and jittery, I'm going to stutter it, because why not? And get rid of every second, because I want it to land on the grid. There we go. I'm also going to pan it far left. Okay, I think we're done. Let's take a final listen.